problems with. I had a lot of problems with my anger. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, yeah.
Because you said that you had an issue.
Yeah, I had an
with
issue.
Your anger
You could
coming up.
yeah, you could say that. I had a little issue. But yeah, I mean, I think I would like to get into those things. I mean, that's one of my main goals is to help control my anger and be able to better adapt to things. I mean, I can adapt pretty well, but I think when my anger takes over, I tend to just let that take over.
You forget where you're at.
Yeah, I don't even care where I'm at that point. It's just like, okay, attack mode. That's it. You know, and I think that's a lot of traumatization that I've been through as far as being a kid. You know, I grew up with brothers that beat me up. You know, they used to fight. We used to fight all the time. So I think that has a lot to do with it. So it is what it is, and that's what I want to help with. I want to help with everything, honestly. Be a better person, and I think I can help out a lot of other people, including yourself, because this is a test for you as well.
I mean, you being here is very helpful. I mean, it's like we're all this mirror to this space, and each person is a reflection. So while I may reflect different things, you reflect different things for me. Rolando reflects different things, and in this way, we can have space and harmony here to learn.
Exactly, we're all learning from each other, and that's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Sure. So, and so what triggered like the anger coming out?
Frustration because let's see. There's a number of things like when you tell people something and they just put it to the wayside, like they don't want to listen. Their ignorance takes over, and I think that I'm being ignorant as far as them being ignorant because I'm getting mad about them getting ignorant. So it's like, okay, so why am I doing this, but I'm still doing this? Like, it contradicts itself all the time, and that's what bothers me the most. Because I'm like, why am I getting mad about this person not listening when basically why am I getting mad? There's no reason to get mad. Why? You know, what reason do I have in my mind to get mad? There's no reason. It's
Usually what happens there is like we use anger to hide or through emotions.
Yes.
We use the anger to hide maybe sadness or grief.
Depression, anything. There's a lot of hidden stuff that that is under the surface. You know, the trauma and stuff that I've been through, and nobody knows the story. I know the story, but nobody else knows it. So when I lash out, they tend to get offended, which is understandable. But they don't understand why I'm like that. I'm like that for a reason. Even though it's not a good thing, I still do it. And that's what I'm trying to work on.
But the thing is, I mean, the good thing is that you're aware of it. You know.
That's the main part of getting through it is being aware of it. Once you're aware of it, you're pretty much halfway there. Now the issue is to control it. That's the main issue, and that's one of the hardest parts out of everything is how to control it. Put yourself in situations, just like before we were talking about hindrances. Hindrances are going to occur, and you need to know how to react. 97% of things that are going to happen to you is how you're going to react to them. You know, it's not the thing that happens itself, it's how you react to it. Mm-hmm. So if somebody yells at you and you get upset, guess what? You're choosing to react that way. You don't have to choose to react that way, but you are choosing to react that way. Why? Because you're letting those emotions get a hold of you, and you're letting your anger and stuff like that. And that's
you're letting your feelings, not your emotions. There are two ways to approach life. The first one is through the intellect, to reasoning, know this, and the second one is knowing the causal emotions. Knowing the root of the causal emotions that are causing these things.
Exactly.
If you actually allow those emotions to surface, you won't even have to deal with us again.
Exactly.
Well, we bring it back to the hindrances, as we're talking about. That what I'm basing this practice off of is Varchana's text of the overcoming of obstacles, the Sun and Moon Tantra. So the hindrances are directly spoken about in the beginning as part of the path. all of the emotions that one has, desire, anger, jealousy, pride, envy.
That's everything.
They're included in this path. Just seeing like it's actually not out there that's causing my anger and my aversion, but in actuality, this is wisdom, because the ability to recognize it, the recognition spontaneously and automatically brings you back to instant presence. But if you're swept away by it and you're not present, it doesn't have the opportunity to transform into wisdom or to recognize it as wisdom arising from oneself.
Definitely.
And in this, that's what we're working with here. So the hindrances in the beginning, it's easy to refresh them, because if you're going to progress along the path, the 5 main ones: cravingness, anger, there is confusion, there's laziness, and doubt.
Yep.
And also including anxiety in that as a form of confusion. If you're confused, you're probably anxious. And
well, I think that anxiety has a lot to do with, it can have a lot to do with different things as far as like depression and stuff like that as well. It all goes hand in hand with each other. So that's an issue as well. And I think that from what you've told me, from what you've experienced through this practice, has actually helped you. And I'm glad that you've actually wanted to teach me. That's awesome.
Okay.
And I'm happy about that.
Awesome. So beginning is the 9 purification breaths starting out, so we can actually begin there. And I've outlined the Varchana posture, and I'll refresh a bit, because of course I find that even with these postures, every little bit, when you say keep your spine straight, and you realize this whole week, man, I've not kept my spine straight, the reminder actually helps to go a little deeper and deeper into it, because it never hurts to, okay, am I aware? Is being comfortable is first and foremost. Find a relaxed, comfortable position. In this, your spine is straight. The text of the Sun and Moon Tantra has 7 characteristics for it. The analogy is given that the nose is in line with the navel, and this helps with a straight spine. The hands are on the knees. There's little indentations here where the hands can be placed on the knees. The legs are crossed in a lotus posture, preferably, but if you don't have a lotus posture, a calm, comfortable position first and foremost. Chest is open to facilitate the full deep breathing. Then your eyes are soft and relaxed. The tongue is on the upper palate, and your jaws, teeth, and lips are naturally relaxed as well. So from here, the right hand will lift, and we can work together facilitating the full breathing. Bring in the ring and the middle finger to the right nostril, exhaling out of the left, emptying. Remaining empty, releasing the hand down. Left hand raises, filling to the top, and exhaling. Releasing. Inhaling. both hands on knees, inhaling through both nostrils, filling to the top, exhaling, first the upper air, bringing the arms to the sides, lowering the forehead down to the floor, keeping your spine straight. Remaining empty for some period. Inhaling back up. Another way to check your posture to see if it's in line is you can briefly check by raising the hands above the head, stretching and elongating, and then lowering the hands down. And this checks to see if your spine is straight and everything is in line. So one of the reasons that we're working on the breath in the beginning, in Tibetan, this movement is called Lung Ro Salwa. It means exhaling the stale air 9 times, because we're working on the energetic level of the body, and on the level of energy. Essentially, we want to work with the mind, but if you look for the mind, you can't find it. So you work with the most subtle energy that you can in the beginning, which is the breath. The breath we can control. We talked about, I wish I had more control of my emotions. I wish I had more control of the situation so I wouldn't lash out. Well, the breath you can control. And the breath is energy, and the emotions that you experience are just forms of energy. I said that emotions are energy in motion, emotion. Makes sense. By working with the breath and emptying, it's known as the door. It's the gate. The 9 purification breaths, you're going into the practice with a clean slate. You're coming in, exhaling everything that you're leaving at the door, and you're honoring this as a sacred space. And this body, breath, and mind is unified here in the practice. So with that unity, this is sacred space, and that's what we're stepping into in this beginning. Okay.
No, it's not. That's a hindrance.
There is sacred space.
That's it. I'm gonna turn that off.
So, I know last week we went over a lot of various movements for loosening up the joints. Today, I just kind of wanted to focus on harmonizing the body through the breath. And in order to do this, I'll go through some various exercises here, and then we can work on loosening the joints. Because we can examine our condition. You can follow me. This is a very simple exercise. It's through 5 steps. First, being able to kneel and bringing your hands to your cheeks and your chins. See if you can just rest here and relax your breathing. Now, the analogy of the breath that I gave is like a vase that you're filling from the bottom up. When you're exhaling from the top down. You can see, if you were to just examine this posture here, it doesn't quite feel like you can get a full breath. but you're working with your capacity to just examine if there's any parts that feel tight or restricted. This can also serve as warming up for the other exercises. Here now, I want you to widen out the knees apart and now examine the breathing. Keeping the abdomen loose and relaxed, breathing from the bottom up and exhaling from the top down. Here you're not controlling the breath, nor is it pranayama. You're just observing. In each step in this, it progresses a little bit more. Now you're bringing your forehead down to the floor, extending the arms above the head. Now just examine your breathing. Remember that the breathing is through the nose, not through the mouth. And then we're not restricting or controlling anything, but just observing what is. This phase, bringing your right ear down to the mat, bringing your arms to the sides of your knees, making slight fists, and examine the breathing. Now bringing your left ear down to the mat, repeating on the other side. Every now and then, taking a full breath. Coming back up to the kneeling posture. Now just examine your breathing now. See if there's any difference. How does that feel?
Feels amazing. Feels good. Like it's not restricted. Like it feels natural, honestly.
Like there was nothing that you did. It was just
just
letting the body relax so that the breath can flow in its place. The last progression is a little bit more of a challenging one, but we'll try it and we'll see what your capacity is today. Is that you're in the Z seat, you having your left foot in front and your right foot is bringing behind. You're going to lean forward. See if you can bring your ear to the mat, hands to the side, and examine your breathing. Here you may feel like some restrictions in the hips, but this is where you're easing into. If this is challenging, you can use your hand as a base, like this and just rest there. If not, you can bring your ear to the mat for the full posture. Rising up and slowly transition to the other side. Lowering down, you can use your hands if you need to. Otherwise, bringing your ear down to the floor and observe your breathing. Slowly coming up. Come back to the just a regular seated posture, and now just examine your breathing. You can see in this state that the mind is also very calm as well, and tranquil.
Mm-hmm.
The energy is very tranquil, and that's the that we want to move into in the practice.
Yeah, I feel very calm and just, it's different. It's weird. Mm-hmm. Kind of a weird feeling that you're not used to, I guess. Yeah. Seriously. The breathing is different. It's just, it's like basically lowering your blood pressure, honestly, is what it feels like. It's like
welcome to the natural state. We'll move into the movements of Sajan, or the loosening of the joints. We're continuing to build a foundation. First one is contracting. Here through this practice, being able to inhaling and exhaling. And here the breathing is quick and direct. As I'm inhaling, exhaling, squeezing, tensing the whole body, contracting even the fingers and toes. Even the toes, examine. You can tense the whole body. Even your jaw, your neck, or your abdomen, your arms, like a sponge. And relax. Inhaling and exhaling. You see that the reason that you're doing that is that you're training your body to build this connection from the fingers to the toes. Sometimes we have this disconnect where we can't even connect with our feet, even in sync with the hands, being able to just squeeze and contract. But also, blood is being sent to those areas, and the feet sometimes is the furthest area from the brain. We're building this connection here, this neural map. Go. Okay.
There's different businesses.
The next one moving into is to shaking. Okay. Sometimes there can be tensions that are stored in the body, and we're shaking it out, so now this blood can flow into these areas, and wherever the blood flow, know that that's also where the breath also flows into as well. Wherever there's energy and sensation, it's all
correlated together.
It's all connected. Mm-hmm. So, being able to inhale, exhaling, bringing the feet to the groin, shaking the hands. Inhaling, exhaling. Now inhaling, grabbing the ankles and shaking. So now the lower body here is relaxed. See, it should be loose.
That's not loose.
Letting it flow.
Okay, There we go. There we go. It's a little better.
Inhaling. Exhaling. Now the entire body. Inhaling. Exhaling, lifting the legs and shaking. Hands move up, down, but the feet. Examine the legs. Is there any restriction? Letting it go. Inhaling, exhaling. Next one is pulling. Inhaling, bringing your right hand to your left knee and the left hand on the outside of your left foot. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. So you're pulling the knee back. And the foot raises to the outside of the extended leg. Exhale, pulling it back. Relaxing, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, other side, exhaling. So left hand comes to the right knee, right hand grabs the outside of the right foot.
Okay, so this one.
So your left hand's going to come to your right knee, and your right hand's going to grab the outside of your right foot.
Okay.
Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, to the outside, pulling. Relaxing, inhaling, exhaling. You're going to inhale, and you're going to grab both legs on the outsides. You're going to extend to the best of your ability as you inhale. Exhale, bring it back. Working at your capacity. Inhaling, exhaling. Next one, there's a transition. You're transitioning. Inhaling, grasping above the head. And we work on twisting. That is twisting to the left. Inhaling as you center. Twisting to the right. Inhaling, bending to the left. Inhaling, bending to the right. So it's twisting, twisting, bending, bending. And the elbows are always straight. They don't turn as you turn, but they're kept in place. Bending, bending. Twist. And exhaling forward. Transitioning back, placing the toes, rolling back to your heels, extending above your hands, inhaling, exhaling. Last one is for coordinating. So these 5 movements are to coordinate the body, but here you're specifically coordinating the wrists, elbows, and the ankles, as they're all moving in sync. So the hands begin palm up, and as the wrist, the back of the wrists come together, the big toes start kind of coming together, and the ankles start moving. As the wrists and the elbows move upwards towards throat height, then the ankles turn out, and the elbows they come together, and the hands fold out. So inhaling, exhaling. You see, this movement is in sync. The wrists and the big toes touch. And the hands, they start moving upwards. Ankles start moving out. This is where you're coordinating. So this is moving in sync. Mm-hmm. This is not isolated from the rest of your body.
Okay, so you gotta learn how to correlate together.
Coordinate at the same time.
Exactly.
Everything's in sync. Coming in, as it comes up, the toes touch and the ankles roll out. As the elbows, they come together, ankles turn out. Let's see. So, palms up.
Palms up.
Back of the wrist. Ankles, bringing it up. Throat height. Elbows. Wrists pour out. It's here. Also, when this is coming up, then the elbows lift. This also facilitates a deep breath as well. See, this is inhaling, exhaling. In, out.
Your elbows, when they're up, they have to touch.
Touch like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah,
basically
see,
like...
there's a lot going on.
Okay.
Okay, but this is why we're practicing and working on this.
I have not mastered that one yet. Don't have that sometimes still. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
there for some time.
Yeah. It takes a while. It takes a while.
It's a lot.
It takes a while.
I'll figure it out. I think I'm just gonna be practicing just that, just so I can get that down. Because I think if you can get that down, then like everything else will it won't flow as well. But it's just mastering that is like
surprisingly. So what is being shown is the preliminary practices. When I get into the main practice of the pranayamas and the meditation and the authentic movement, it all actually comes back to how well you do in the preliminaries. It's like the loosening of the joints, being able to shake and relax the body. This is in coordinating. It plays a role in the deeper practices that you do, like the main practice.
So you have to master that in order to get to the level of It's like you're playing a video game and you have to level up.
So I'll give you like the bits and pieces here. So I'm going to show the first movement of purifying energy, the first movement in the Lung Song, and then we'll get into the main practice. Normally there's 8 movements in the Lung Song, but it can't overwhelm you today with all of the various movements. So we'll do this, then we'll get into the main practice. This is just warming up. Fortunately. So standing up, now that your body's loose, and the whole purpose of those 5 exercises to contract, to shake, to pull, to twist, and to coordinate is all for loosening the joints. Loosening the body so that now you can work on the level of energy. The first movement is you're coordinating body, energy, and mind, and you're training in the slow inhalation. So there's a rhythm that we're going to follow. Okay. First, I'll demonstrate. Okay. You can watch. Rhythm is in, out, in slow, hold, tense the whole body, out, in, out, and repeating the rhythm, in, out, in slow, holding, out, in, out, in, out, in slow, hold, out, in, out. So here your body is relaxed, and of course your mind is involved by being engaged in the rhythm. Your body is engaged in this, and your breath is in sync. And I find that these specific movements are very key. Then, like, when I go back to it now, I find that it's so important to actually be in sync with this rhythm, because this rhythm is life. The way that you integrate with the breath. If this is difficult to even coordinate the movement, then it'd be very difficult to get into like the pranayamas or authentic movement, where you're actually integrating all of your emotions, all of your mental states, all of the senses in its entirety. This is why, like, when I initially wanted to introduce these practices, I figured not everyone is on that level. So it's this being able to integrate the rhythm, I found was for me, I found was the most practical way of bringing a person into the natural state. So it may seem very basic, very simplistic, but there's a reason for it. This is the methodology. If you're an advanced practitioner and you already have these rhythms down, then you probably don't need to do this. But I find like you can go deeper into it. That your growth in many ways is probably going to be related to how deeply you can immerse into the rhythm.
So it's a rhythm. Basically, I feel it's like a rhythm of energy that you're trying to correlate.
Yes. So we're doing this and we're coordinating. Now you're coordinating everything with the breath.
Exactly.
So, there's 7 aspects or 7 phases of this breathing. 7 phases of this movement of slow inhalation. That the first one is that the arm is going to come to the inside of the elbow, and you're going to grasp on with the thumb on the inside of the right elbow, and you're raising to shoulder height as you inhale. This is 1. Okay. Exhaling, arms come down, and the chest opens up. This is 2. Remember, your spine is straight here. Inhaling slowly. This is 3. Holding open and tensing the whole body. This is 4. Exhaling, bringing the hands down, lowering to the sides. This is 5. Inhaling, 6. Exhaling, 7. So there's 7 phases here. There is there's an initial phase. This is the initial phase. The central phase that we're training is a little bit slower. This is the slow count. And then the ending phase, the final phase, is down and out. So the rhythm that you're following is, the rhythm is inhaling for 2, exhaling for 2.
What is the reason for tensing up the body when you get up to this point?
Is that, so in this, you're training in the various phases of the breath. This is an open hold phase, so the air is inside. By tensing the whole body, it's like you're elongating, allowing the air in the channels to open up and to flow. So and also, just like when you're doing this movement, it's a similar concept. You facilitate the deep breath. So just like when you're exact same thing, except now it's coordinated into the movement, you're tensing the whole body so all the channels, they can open up.
And then you release.
And relax.
So it's basically, it's just my opinion now, I'm not the expert, but it's basically correlating with your movement and your breath at the same time. That's the whole goal.
There really doesn't want to be any separation between body, breath, and mind. It's becoming in sync. You're immersing into the rhythm.
That's it.
So for these counts, we'll use the tempo of 2. It's inhaling 1, 2, exhaling 1, 2. The central phase is a count of 4. Okay. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, holding, tensing 1, 2, exhaling 1, 2, inhaling 1, 2, exhaling 1, 2. Also, examine your neck. Your neck here is straight, in line. Shoulders are relaxed. This is relaxed. No need, when this is raising, there's no need to actually tense this. There's no need to actually raise the shoulders.
So just make it, it's got to be natural.
It's like a bird,
Yeah, it's like,
when a bird is inhaling.
It was so natural, I didn't even realize that my hand was up.
It's like, yes, you have a question.
We're going to train in this rhythm first. So I will do it with you and just follow along, and we'll repeat it again and again and again
and again.
Until it becomes
natural.
When I was...
And I can just do it on the street. And
when I was doing
this... That's what we do.
When I trained on this specific movement in Tenerife, we spent... I probably... Gosh, man... months months on this one because when I took my exam, it was like my supervision, because like I wanted to teach this specific practice. I wasn't authorized in the beginning. It's like You know why? Because your arms weren't straight. You know, you were not in sync. It
So
was
you have to
very
be
horrible.
natural.
That is
Natural.
that I'm very critical here of the form and the way that you do it. But reason that the form is so particular
Because
is
it
to
goes with
facilitate.
The breath.
Because the deeper you can relax into the form, into the rhythm, I find it's the deeper your practice gets. And the form facilitates, just equanimity, I like to call it. Finding equanimity with the form and the formlessness. Is otherwise, if you have restrictions, I can't do this, I can do that. It's you're attached to.
You're limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself as well. I think.
So let's immerse into the rhythm. In, 2, out, 2, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, out, 2, in, 2, out, 2, in, out, in, hold, out, in, out, in, out, in, hold, tense, out, in, out, in, out, in, hold, 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 out, in, out, in, out, in, slow, hold, tense the whole body, out, in, out, repeat, in, out, in, or slow, hold, out, stay in the rhythm, in, out, in, out, in, slow, hold, out, in, out, in, out, in, hold, out, in, out, shake it out. Make this transition to the floor, stepping the left over the right, exhaling down. Slight transition. Okay, come over time. Take the Varchana posture and examine your breathing. Remember the 7 characteristics: legs crossed, hands on knees, spine is straight. You can check your posture. Exhaling down. Chest is open, eyes are soft, tongue to the roof of the mouth, jaws, lips, and teeth relax. Examine your energy here. You've done a lot of loosening up, shaking the joints, and coordinating energy. Now you're probably a lot more aware of places in the body that may still need more coordination. This will come over time through the practice. Now, from here, I'm going to introduce rhythmic breathing. This rhythmic breathing is, from the Varachana posture, a way of coordinating body, energy, and mind. And this, I find that the deeper you can go into the rhythmic breathing and maintaining the rhythm, the deeper you can relax into authentic movement. The deeper you can, and in authentic movement, you're not controlling the body, you're not controlling the breath, you're not controlling the mind. But if you can, this is deep form. You know, when we're doing these things, you're training in form. This rhythmic breathing is the most subtle aspect of form, because it's not so much physical, but your body is engaged with the count and the rhythm. Your mind is engaged because it's maintaining the rhythm, and your breath is engaged in being in sync with the rhythm, so that there's no separation between body, breath, and mind. In this regard, the deeper you can go into this, and over time, it became my main practice when I was studying the Sun and Moon Tantra, that the rhythmic breathing, it was a long time. Out of all of the pranayamas that I learned, it was the one that I found that was most applicable, that I thought it could be applied by anybody. And I was also, for me, a way to measure your capacity. That the deeper part of the training is you're developing your capacity to integrate with reality. And this capacity is the wisdom that by training in the rhythm, what's being in sync here, what one is aligning with, is one's own natural state. So your ability to recognize it, your ability to be present, to train in presence, carries over into your movement practice. So before I would even put you in authentic movement, or even just a basic sitting still meditation, I found that the deeper I was able to go into the rhythm, the deeper I was able to go into a meditative state as well. The samadhi, the concentration.
Makes sense.
And that's what you're essentially building as well. One of the capacities is the samadhi-like concentration. By becoming focused on the rhythm and immersing into it, concentration develops. And that concentration is samadhi. That concentration is then used to direct into the body, into the breath, into the sensations, into the feeling tones, into the perceptions, into the various elements, to recognize it. But if you don't have the concentration, then it's easy to get lost in a practice such as authentic movement or improvisation. So I will explain it. Starting out, we're going to do a basic count of 4-4-4. Over time, you can be progressed. The method for it is, when you're counting, you're inhaling, touching the left knee 1, touching the right knee 2, touching the chest for 3, and snapping out for 4. Being able to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're exhaling for 4, but the exhale is divided into exhaling for 1, 2, holding empty 3, 4, and repeating. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, holding 1, 2, 3, 4, exhaling 1, 2.
The snap is at the end.
3,
Yeah.
4. See, this is what we're coordinating.
It has to be in sync. Like what you're
It's
saying.
in sync. You see that the mind will want to wander off.
Yeah, because it gets distracted as far as doing this, and then you're just like, that's an automatic response. That's a normal thought process.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is training your brain.
You're training
Everything.
coordination. You're harmonizing the body, breath, and mind to work in sync.
Mm-hmm.
So the training in the Sun and Moon Tantra, this is a very basic pattern, 4-4-4. And in the book of Prana by Chogyal Namkhai Norbu, he recommends to do that pattern of 4-4-4 for about 20 minutes. If you can, that's just a basic pattern, 4-4-4.
But if you can, I feel if you can do that, then
You have concentration.
yeah, then your concentration.
But we'll see. We'll test it. We'll test it. We'll see if you can be concentrated for 20 minutes. The book of the Sun and Moon Tantra shows what one can progress to, what one's capacity can be. They have what's called the small, medium, and major kumbhaka. And the kumbhaka is the pranayama practice for drawing the winds into the central channel, and for recognizing one's non-dual state. You know, you're integrating movement and stillness into the practice. So the small kumbhaka is being able to continuously, without interruption, hold for to inhale for a count of 8, hold for a count of 32, exhaling and holding empty for a count of 16. The medium kumbhaka is inhaling for a count of 12, holding for a count of 48, exhaling and holding empty for a count of 24.
Wow.
The major kumbhaka is being able to inhale for 16, hold for a count of 64, exhaling and holding empty for a count of 32 continuously.
Wow, so you just...
And that and over time your breath slows down. And in fact, one of the benefits that it says in the text is that over time you don't even differentiate anymore between the in breath and the out breath. It's like you become the breath. You become one's own potential.
Natural state.
That it's that and there's no resistance anymore to even being able to just hold the pose or just hold it and just relax. It becomes automatic. But we're gonna test this, and we're gonna do the rhythm of 4-4-4. But before I do that, I'll show how you would progress along the path. And I found that this was a beautiful way of measuring one's capacity. If you can't do this continuously, then I know where you're at in your where you're at. I know if you've been practicing or not. If you can maintain a rhythm. I could see it in your movements. I would see it in just the preliminaries, being able to shake your joints. I could tell, even in just the slow inhalation, if you can maintain a rhythm. It's so interconnected with everything else you do. That's why it's like I made that the main pranayama that I practiced, because I found it stretched out into every aspect of my life. And so it's a big deal to actually share it, because it's
a big deal for me, because it's awesome that you get to share your experiences and what it's done for you.
The way that you would progress is
Practice.
is if you're following along and you're interested in the practice, I have a list or a sheet you can go by to, and then for a long time I would just each day I would increase the open hold phase by 2. I would just check it off till I worked through the phases.
Mhm.
When I acquired the major, or so when I acquired the small kumbhaka, I went into retreat. And then after 30 days of being in silent retreat, I found I was able to get the most progress there. I went from 30 days from the small kumbhaka to the medium kumbhaka. In the past 3 months, I was able to progress from the medium to the major and to hold that continuously.
That's awesome.
But if you're progressing, the open hold phase is increased by 2.
Mm.
And until it's double the exhalation and the empty hold, then you would increase the empty hold and exhalation phase by 2.
Mm.
And then when the empty hold and the exhalation phase is double, when that is double that of the inhalation, you would increase the inhalation phase by 2. So this is a method. It is, and it's the exact same method that Barachana listed. That you do it this way, you will get results. If you try to do it if you try to mix it, try to alter it, the path works if you stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I found, that I tried to experiment in different ways.
Doesn't work.
But in the end, I found just stick with the text. The text says to do it this way. It says when the open hold phase is twice that of the exhalation and the empty hold, increase the exhalation and empty hold by 2. When the exhalation and empty hold is twice that of the inhalation, you increase the inhalation by 2. And then it resets, and you keep progressing along this path until you get to the small, medium, and major kumbhaka.
And do you think that's where the calmness and the tranquil state comes from?
It's very connected. As I've had somebody ask me, is it everything? Is it important to is relaxing everything? Is it necessary? Right. In the relaxed state, there is nothing but presence. And in the state of presence, anything you do with presence is a practice. Anything you do with presence, it's already perfect. You cannot... I gave Rolando this analogy of space. And we can both agree that presence is like space. In that regard, wherever there's presence, you can't alter it. You can't even find it. You can't hold it, you can't grasp it. But there's nowhere that it's not. It's like
a riddle.
It's like the sky.
It's like an unsolved riddle, basically.
It's like even the words used to explain it would not be it, but it's inseparable from it. It's just a symbolic means to...
It integrates with each other.
But wherever there is rhythm, wherever there is presence, that's where the practice is. And wherever there's presence, whatever arises, since it's in its nature already perfect, there's liberation is already present. And in that regard, presence is self-liberation. And this is what we're coming through the practice and authentic movement. It leads to the realization of that whatever arises, any sensation, any discomfort, automatically brings one to a state of presence. And in that presence, by observing it and not reacting and having the state of equanimity, liberation is already present. It's self-liberation. It's like there's not a thing that's self-liberating. Its presence is self-liberation. And when I say self, I explain self as totality,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and not the individual. Self with a capital S instead of a
see,
small
that's
s.
what people misconstrued that when you've. It's a better way of understanding it, actually.
Yeah.
So
we will practice the rhythm of 4-4-4, and stick with the rhythm and stick with the pattern. Whenever your mind wanders off, bring it back to the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And then on your own, I can show you how to progress along the practice. Or for now, if it's difficult to even stick with this for a period of time, and you'll see, it may seem very easy.
I think I got two things that I probably want to focus on. This is one of them, and then because it all goes with coordination, honestly.
Yeah.
Is that too? So I want to do all this and then correlate with what we're doing now, and that's what I can practice on. Because I want to get better at that because it has a lot to do with rhythm. Has a lot to do with everything, from what you're talking, and I want to get better at that. So then I know I can move on. You know I'm ready.
So we'll begin. There's checking the posture. And beginning in, 2, 4, hold, out, empty, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, empty, 2, in, hold, stay in the rhythm, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty. Relax into it. In, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, in, hold, out, empty, in, Stay in the rhythm. Out. Empty. In. Hold. 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 Out. Empty. In. Stay in the rhythm. Hold. Out. Empty. In. Hold. Out. Empty. In. Hold. Out. Empty. In. 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 Hold. Out. Empty. Out. Empty. In. Hold. Relax. Exhale. Out. In. Hold. empty, in, hold, out, empty, relax, in, stay in the rhythm, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty, in, hold, out, empty. Last one, in, hold, out, empty. Change air. Examine your condition now and your breathing. If done in sync and immerse into it, you can actually put yourself into the flow state, into this rhythm of being completely concentrated. In the Buddhist path, they would call that the jhanic absorption. You become absorbed into the state. There's no I, me, or mine. There's not even this breath anymore that you're breathing in. You're just completely absorbed and present in this moment. That's the concentration that you bring into the movement practice. You can get into the absorption state, or the zone, or the free flow. You call it the hot spot, whatever you want to call it. But it was the method of putting yourself into the jhanic state to bring concentration, and from there you could move into like the yogic practices, the asanas that you do now from this position. You were to just examine your body, actually just sit here from this posture and actually examine yourself now, actually just leaning over. Does your body not feel more light? It feels that just everything is flowing. There's more ease. Feel like there's
not
less
forcing anything.
Yeah. It's that easiness that I've actually found even increased strength. I was able to stand on my hands or like move into this posture that I was like, oh, it was like there wasn't any effort anymore from this. Just like being here, it just like
it feels natural.
It's just like I fly into it.
You're not forcing it.
Yeah.
It feels more
and
natural.
then even coming down, it's like, oh, I'm just flying. Because yeah, like the obstacles disappear, and I realized that was the purpose of what I wanted to dive into, the removal of obstacles. But now, how was that to keep up with the rhythm?
For me, it was kind of difficult, honestly, because my concentration is crap, honestly. But it's something that I can work on and get better at. It's something that I need to work on is the whole this and that. It's a big deal for me. So.
What is so you start? What is the sequence?
It's this 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And see, people don't understand how actually hard it is to correlate your breath and the movement, and that's what you were talking about. I can see exactly what you're.
It's because
explaining.
The brain wants to coordinate it. The brain wants to like, let me do this and this and that.
It's trying to.
When in the moment that you let that go, by itself it will adjust.
It'll come natural.
Yes, because it's gonna be aware of this, even the sounds. So.
Yeah, you're limiting. You're limiting your body and your perception to certain things. So I think during this practice, I think that'll help me bring that all together, so I can be in like you said, my natural state, and that's what I'm aiming for. So that's my whole.
And you can practice this as slow as you can, like trace the movements, because the movements in slow motion are the same movements in like fast pace. They're exactly the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same, and you're not forcing it.
Exactly.
Because I feel like my state of mind, honestly, I like to It's our cardio for me, because I do it like a cardio, and I'm not focusing on the breath, and I think that's a lot of my problem. Is I need to slow my brain down a little bit and come back to just simple, just that in itself I think is gonna help me tremendously. I think actually that'll help me if I ever get angry. I could just do that. It's better than counting to 10, honestly. In my opinion, it's like, okay. And that's a good exercise.
When this movement, remember, treat yourself like a child. Because I'm a baby now training.
Well, considered to this practice, I am a baby. I'm like an infant right now. Mm-hmm. Like I just came out of the womb, basically.
That's perfect. That's beautiful. We all did.
But just like with all children, they have to grow, and I'm gonna grow into this. I like it. It makes me feel good, honestly. So. I want to be able to focus better. So that's. See, I naturally just want to start doing this and just start running. That's because my mind's going so.
See, and actually, with that, you can speed it up too. I mean, you can do that, but.
You have to focus on the breath.
Stick with the rhythm and focus on the breath. If this is fast, then that's fine. But just stick with the rhythm. If it's slow, you can slow it down. But presence is what's being trained, that you're present with the rhythm. Your body, breath, and mind is in sync.
You're in tuning your body to work and correlate together.
You're present.
Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of people have the problem with. And even, wow, I never thought about it that way. That's why a lot of the monks and stuff like that can move the way that they do. And as far as like the martial arts and stuff like that, because they train themselves. And it has a lot to do with probably breathing and relaxing yourself and being in tune with your own body.
Also, what helps is, the way that I was taught is that the healthy rhythm, you're to apply this for health, is to match the rhythm to the rhythm of your heart.
Ah, that makes sense.
So that would, if you were to use a metronome, that would be probably, a healthy heartbeat, 52 to 58 beats per minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I find if you can start at, if you can do it at 52 beats per minute, I found that was a very good tempo for relaxing the heart, reducing stress, and just maintaining that tempo there. That's the tempo that when I'm doing this, pretty much at that rate.
That makes sense, actually,
52
because
beats per minute.
if you think about it, it's like a natural heartbeat.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's like,
No, it's...
yeah.
No,
See, that was my problem.
Left, right,
Trace
chest.
it.
Center.
Like it's
like
slow.
left,
First it's slow.
right.
There you go. Trace it.
See, that's why I get kind of mixed up. My concentration is horrible. I mean,
Like,
see.
right, like, grab says, let him grab your wrist and move your wrist. Move his wrist. Move it up and down. Up and down. Or now move yours.
Like this?
Don't let me move it.
Okay.
Feel here? Alright, now from here, trace a movement. Slowly.
Okay, slow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. There you go. Beautiful. That's okay. You did good. See? Yeah. You were really. Yeah.
I was trying to like.
Knee.
See, that's why I was.
Knee, hard.
That's why like my brain is like my body is just like. This is what I'm trying to do is calm down. It's very hard for me. It's very calm.
You're doing good. You're doing really good. Really good.
Okay. When I spoke with Rolando today, I was like, I was thinking of putting you.
You're doing great, right? You're doing great, bro. Like, don't rush it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Just keep coming back.
Yeah.
I was thinking of putting you through the ringer of, like putting you on the spot in this authentic movement, and just like going through it. But I realized, this is the preliminaries, man. I'm just I'm training, I'm building you up for that. It wouldn't be a good idea right now. Getting the rhythm down.
Repeat in your head.
Heart.
Knee, heart.
That's what I'm doing.
Knee.
No.
People would not
your foundation.
how hard this is.
Your foundation first. First your foundation. First your
Left.
grounding. Yeah, ground. You're grounding first. Knee, you're grounding. Then goes to your heart. Then goes out to the world. Foundations. Your heart. Out to the world. Foundation. Heart. There you go. Mm-hmm.
See, I did it again. It's like left, right, heart, left, right, heart, left, right, left.
Slowly.
See, this is what you're doing too. You're reconditioning yourself. You're rebuilding these new neural pathways.
It's opening up the paths that have been blocked, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So let's
The blockage.
we can probably end soon, but I'm gonna show you one movement for ending that I like. It's not in the Sun and Moon Tantra. It's one that I've been doing in my own personal practice, called the microcosmic orbit. But I found it's leading into an authentic movement practice. I found like it's beautiful. It's beautiful to actually practice, and the means for it is you're coordinating once more with the entire body.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Let's stand up.
Okay.
So this you can probably do at the end of a practice, and Rolando and I we've done this thousands of times together. I like it because even when I do authentic movement now, it comes spontaneously. this is the microcosmic orbit. Your palms are going to face your body the entire time.
Okay.
So you can begin in the Anjali Mudra posture, hands together. Your body is relaxed. And so all that coordination you've been doing, palms are going to trace down the inside of your body, moving to the bottoms of the feet, the outside of the legs. It's going to move up the back till you can't reach anymore. Up the side, you're going to make a slight fist. Bring the hands to either side of the shoulder blades. Open the hands, moving down one side of the arms, switching the hands, moving down the other sides of the arms. And just like in the slow inhalation, bringing above the head, behind the back, and over the head.
I think we did this before the first time that you left.
Yeah, we've done this before. Like I normally show this one to people because I feel it's very, very practical. Bringing up the back, either sides of the arms, down the arms, behind the back, and over the head. You can just examine your body now too. See if it feels lighter after all of the things you've done. Let it flow. The palms face the body the entire time. And here you can bring the theme of the authentic movement into the practice of now just not controlling the breath, just letting your breath be. However it is. However your mind is, just letting it be. And however your body is, let it be as it is. And just see if you can examine into that state from this movement. Last one. Slow it down. See if you can pace each movement here. Slow it down. Bring the hands to navel level. And bring the point of concentration 4 finger widths below the navel. You can even slightly contract the abdomen here and bring it back towards the spine. And see if all of the energy that's been opened up, bring it into this spot and just concentrate. Relaxing here. Remember that your breathing is not forced, it's not controlled, letting it be. Your abdomen is relaxed and soft, just letting it be. On the ending note, you would take 9 fast exhalation breaths by inhaling up, exhaling down. Knees can bend, be soft. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Just relax the arms to the side. Shake it off. You can come down to the mat. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.